Look who's back. This is exciting, friends. All right, welcome back to today's episode, which is going to be an extra special episode because with me is the very beautiful and very wonderful Karyn Tripp.
Hello. I'm so happy to be back and say hi again.
Yes. So if you've been listening to the podcast for a long time, Karyn and I used to do the podcast together. Mm-hmm. Huge falling out. Just kidding.
I know everyone always was asking, are you guys fighting? Are you guys okay? No fights. We're good.
No.
We're good friends still.
Yeah, we still see each other every month, and our kids see each other a ton. Uh-huh. So much right now, because Brendan can drive and my son can't, so that really helps.
Yeah.
No, so Karyn and I started the podcast together, and she is the creator of the website Teach Beside Me, which is full of amazing ideas. So how long ago did we part ways?
Has it been a year yet? Almost a year, I think.
I think so too.
So we did 2 years of it together?
Yeah, and I think we started in April-ish.
Yeah, and then decided to just separate on it and let Megan just take it over. And yeah, so she's been doing it the last year on her own. Okay,
so for people who didn't listen to the beginning, kind of introduce yourself and let them know who you are.
Sure, yeah. So as Megan said, I am the author of Teach Beside Me, or the owner of that website, where I do just hands-on creative teaching ideas for homeschools, for not only homeschoolers, but teachers, anyone who educates kids, really. There's a lot of homeschool content on there as well. And then in the past couple of years, I've authored 2 books now. That's so exciting. The first is Math, Art, and Drawing Games for Kids. And then I just have released the Science, Art, and Drawing Games for Kids book. It just came out this week.
That's awesome. And how many kids and how long have you been homeschooling?
Yeah. So I have 4 kids. My oldest is 17 and my youngest is 8 now.
Oh, that's crazy.
And I know, she's big.
Yeah.
And we've always homeschooled them. I have never not homeschooled. We started with my oldest when he was preschool age. So
yes, and Karyn was a teacher.
Yeah, I used to teach not homeschool. I used to teach home ec, actually. I did foods classes and interior design and preschool classes in the high school and middle school for a few years until I had my first baby. And then just been home with my babies ever since.
That's awesome. So Karyn's husband is also on a couple of episodes.
Yeah, he did 2 or 3, 2.
Yes. So you want to check those out. But
yeah, they're so great. He is a therapist and has a certification in sex therapy. And so we talked. One was about pornography for kids, or not for kids. Helping people with pornography, but also I think we did one on sex education for kids.
Yes, teaching your kids about sex. Mm-hmm. So that one, Rich is an excellent resource.
Yeah.
He makes me giggle. He was over the other day picking up kids,
and
he wants to make a funny pin for Johnny.
Mm-hmm.
So
we'll just leave it at that.
I won't even talk about it. He's great. So he's a great resource.
Yeah,
so Karyn, also now tell us, what have you been doing this last little bit that we have been on this together?
Work-wise, I wrote a new book, and we're going to talk about that in a couple of minutes, and then non-work-wise, another kind of side project, I don't know if I've even talked to you about this, that I started a new thing called the National Book Ratings.
I did see that.
I'm working on. I have a little website and a little Facebook group where I'm gathering support for that to try and get ratings on books.
That's
so that's needed. Fun and needed right now with the way things are going. And then just as a totally personal thing, I auditioned for the Tabernacle Choir and got accepted into that, and unfortunately haven't started yet because of COVID. They keep pushing back our start date, but I think it's going to start at the end of February, beginning of March, and
it's a bittersweet.
I'm pretty excited about
because our Learning Circle group is so excited for Karyn, but it also means that she's not going to be coming to Learning Circle
only for a few months.
Oh, is it only a few months?
Only for a few months. Yep. We do a training school for 3 months, and in that time I won't be able to go to Learning Circle.
Okay.
But after that I will.
Yes. So it has been so fun to watch her through this whole process.
Yeah, it's been so fun and so exciting, and it's like a dream fulfilled finally. And when you have those lifelong dreams and you finally get to accomplish it, it's pretty exciting.
Yes. Can we just put a pause? Like Karyn saying she's homeschooled her children, their whole education, right? And whether or not Brendan is going to graduate this year or keep going another year, like you guys will decide that. Mm-hmm. But that you have created this amazing website, you've written 2 books, you joined the choir and auditioned and made the choir that you've always wanted to be a part of. Like, homeschooling your children does not mean giving up your life.
Oh, no.
Right? It's just a part of your life.
It is a part of your life, and I think it betters your life in so many ways because you are constantly learning and educating yourself and growing and strengthening yourself in so many ways because you're doing hard things all the time. And so I think more than anything, it's helped me recognize how much I'm capable of.
And I think it's such a beautiful example to your kids of just like, well, my mom can do it. My mom can figure it out. Why can't I figure it out? So
I hope that they're seeing that.
Yeah, eventually. You know, it's funny because I have people who moved out, right? Like, I'm finally getting my mom is so amazing. And I was like, I knew this day would come.
That's special. I remember that day when it came for me and my parents, where I was like, whoa, they did all that for me.
Yes.
You don't recognize it much till you're gone.
Yes. So it will happen.
I know. I hope.
Yeah. Okay, so we wanted Karyn back on just because then we can hang out again. We actually sat and chit-chatted way too long before we even started, just because we don't get to see each other as much as we used to.
I miss our regular meetups. I know.
Well, and I quit the co-op for this last year,
yeah.
But I believe I'll be coming back in the fall.
So.
Yes, I think I will be. So that will be a whole different episode. But anyway, so I wanted Karyn back on to talk about her next amazing book. So the first one she did was
math, art, and drawing games for kids.
Yes.
And then this one is science. If you're on YouTube, you can see the cover. Science, art, and drawing games for kids. And this one has 35, it says 35 plus. I think it's around 40 projects that combine science and art together. And they're so fun and just hands-on interactive activities that you can do with your kids. Some are really simple and some are a lot more involved. And so you can, pick
those are great to see, like, what is my bandwidth?
Yeah. Some, like, literally, one is paper airplanes. And, just testing different ones to see which flies the farthest and the fastest. And that's easy, right? You can do that with just paper. And then there's others that are a lot more involved, like making a little gear thing that spins. And that one took a longer amount of time. And, so it just depends on your bandwidth and your energy levels and your supplies, really.
So how do you continue to come up with so many ideas?
Yeah, that's a good question.
These projects.
It's funny because when I did my math book, I remember spending a really long time researching to try and come up with the projects. For this science one, I feel like it took me like a couple hours and that was it. Like, I was like, science is one of my big loves. Like, I have so much fun doing science and I've done so many science things on my website already that a couple, not very many, a couple of the projects are pulled from older projects that I had that I updated and made better from my website. But most of them were a list of ideas that I just had not yet done.
Okay.
And so I keep a running tally of like projects and activities that I want to do just for the website when I have the time and when I can fit them in. And so a lot of these were just those things that I hadn't done yet.
That's so fun.
It was fun. Some of them I tried and they failed.
Yeah. Thank you for doing the work for us.
Yeah, and so they didn't make it to the book. There's more than are in the book that I did. They always have to cut a few because there's not enough paper space for the size book they make. And so I have a bunch that I'm going to put together for just like a bonus for people that bought it early. That's exciting. I'm behind and haven't made yet, but it's coming.
Well, that's right, because this sweet book when was it supposed to be released?
So this was supposed to be released in November of 2021. Yes. And then it got stuck on a ship off the coast of Los Angeles with like the whole world's, furniture and everything that everybody didn't get this year. It's there. It was there for months. And so this just came out, it's February. It was February 8th was the new release. They pushed it back twice on me. Yeah. And it was so frustrating. At first it was going to be mid-December. And then they were like, sorry, it's going to be after Christmas now. Because I was hoping, how fun to have it right before Christmas for gifts and everything. And then it got put back to February. So at that point I was like, I don't even think this book's coming out. I really did. And it was funny because as I was making it, I had those thoughts. I kept saying to people, I have this weird feeling that this book's never going to be released because it was in the middle of all the crazy, like I was writing this in 2020, I think. Yeah. Is when I started it. And it was in the middle of just the world felt like it was falling apart. I'm like, I'm writing this book, but I feel like it'll never come out. Right. And it almost didn't. Right. It feels that way. It's here, though. It's finally here. So.
Okay, which one is one of your favorite projects in there?
Okay. Oh, I opened to one that I love. Okay, so this is so cute and so fun. It's called a monkey climbing toy. And this one reminds me of my son, Burton. Yeah. Because he helped me test and try this so many times. And I had this idea. I had seen like this old toy from like the 1800s is where I got this idea from. Sometimes I'm crazy like that, and I'll see a picture of something and I'm like, I'm gonna make that.
Yeah.
So that's how my brain works. So that was one of those, and it's this cute little monkey on a string with like rubber band legs, and you pull the string and it inches up the string.
Oh, that's awesome.
And it's so fun. And so we were making this, and we were in the middle of testing it and trying to figure out how to make it work. And then we got a Tinker Crate, and they had almost the same thing in the Tinker Crate. I was like, hey, no, I had already been like making, and it actually was kind of funny. So I didn't use theirs. Obviously, I couldn't use theirs, and I had a whole different idea already put together. But it kind of helped us get some like ideas to figure out how to finish it and make it work, and test it out a little, because we looked at that one. We're like, oh, okay, that's a good idea, and so it gave us some tips. But not to say I copied Tinker Crate for my thing, because I was already making it.
Yeah.
But it was kind of funny how that happened, and so my son and I had a lot of fun testing that one, and we had a good time. So
you know what I love about books like this, and I love that you have so many pictures in it, because sometimes you'll get an idea book, but it's just words.
Yeah.
And so you don't know what you're going to get. And so sometimes I like to get books like this and just set them out with our homeschool stuff. So when I don't really feel like doing science, but I want to do science, I will set a book out and I'll say, why don't you tell me which one looks really fun?
I do that often with my kids too, because I have so many science books like this, activity books. And so I'll just pull a couple out and my kids will just pore over them, and then they have so much fun doing the projects in them. And yeah, on the pictures, I think it's so important. They have to have pictures, and these are all colorful pictures. I took them all and I edited them all. It's all me. So I didn't hire a photographer for this, which a lot of people do for their books.
Yeah.
I did it all, but every single project has several full color pictures,
which is so helpful, and step-by-step instructions,
Mm-hmm.
because sometimes my mind, when they're like, because if it's just a picture, I'm like, I don't know how you just magically did that.
Yeah.
Or if it's just words, I think I need to see how you just did that. And so I love that you have a combination of instructions and pictures.
Yeah.
So it's like all sides of the brain are like, oh, I get it. I get what we're doing here.
Yeah, I think that's important. Yeah.
That's really fun. So what was the process like from, because you got was it your publisher that reached out to you?
Yeah. So both times. The first one I did it, the publisher reached out to me, just found me through my blog, and they had the topic in mind already. And they said, we want a book on math art. And I was like, oh, cool. I've got stuff like that. I know how to do that. And because they had found me just through a Google search, which thank you, Google.
Yeah.
That's why SEO is great on a website. And then this one, they came to me again and they said, your math one's doing really well. Would you like to do a follow-up to it? And we want to do a science one. I was like, yes. I was so excited. So I love working with my publisher in so many ways, because they're so good at putting the books together beautifully. They make the covers amazing. They do a lot of marketing. They go to librarians. They do so much work for me behind the scenes. But the hard thing about working with a publisher is the deadline. So they gave me 3 months for both, total 3 months, to do 50 projects, to photograph, to edit, to write, to do it all in 3 months' time. And Megan knows, when I'm in the middle of that process, I feel like my world is falling apart around me, because
I remember the first book.
So hard. It's so hard. It's so exhausting. With the first one, my husband, well, both of them, my husband is so amazing to help me so much. He would just take the kids out for, like, he'd just drive up to, like, Antelope National Park, or like take them away for hours and hours and hours, and he's like, all right, I got it, we're going somewhere today. And they'd just leave, and I'm like, okay, have fun, whatever you're doing, and they'd come back and tell me their adventure of what they did for that whole Saturday, and I was just so grateful that he could do that and help me so much. And so that's my process. And while I'm at home, it's my there's some projects in here that I would just get so stuck on, and I just, it's trial and error over and over and over. And there was one that ended up not making it in the book, and I posted it on my website because I loved it so much.
Okay.
It was paint that is conductive paint.
Oh, that is fun.
It took me probably 10 tries to get it to work. and it was one of those that I was like, oh, it didn't work again. I'm going to try. I know this is going to work. Like, I was certain it would work because I knew, like, the chemical properties of what I was putting together, that it would work. And it just kept failing. And I finally got it to work, and I made it, and I submitted it, and they cut it from the book. And so I was like, what? No. So I was so bummed on that. So I'm like, well, that's cool. I'll put it on my site, and it's going to do great.
Yeah. That one, when it was such a labor of love.
I know. It's funny. It made me laugh. I was like, really? They're cutting that one? And I could have told, like, they give me choices. Sometimes they're like, these are the ones. What do you think? And I just typically go with them and their choices, because they're the experts more on, like, what they think will succeed and what'll look best and stuff like that. And so, I just let them do their thing because they're the professionals on that aspect of it. But anyway, that was one of the funny things that I was like, well, it's cool. I'll still succeed with that project.
Okay, so you did a Facebook Live not too long ago. Is
Yeah.
that on Teach Beside Me?
Yeah, it's on my Facebook page. You can find it there. On Teach Beside Me. And what I did, it was only like 15 minutes, so no big time commitment. But I did one of the projects from the book. It's oil and water painting. And I wanted to pick one that has very little supplies, so anyone could just jump in and join.
I love that.
And it's literally, you need paper and oil and water and like a spoon or an eyedropper, either one.
Yeah.
So it's pretty simple. So I just showed how to do that, and you can find that on my Facebook page. I'll give Megan the link to put in the show notes. So if you guys want to link right to it, you can come and join me.
Perfect.
It's fun.
Okay, now this is exciting because, wait, you posted this on, is it on Amazon? That, like, it's rating or something? You gotta tell about this.
Oh, okay. So after the first day of sales, so this released February 8th, and on February 9th, I just popped onto Amazon to check on it, because you can see, this is just a little secret thing, but if you look at the bottom of like a book listing, it'll tell you its number ranking.
Oh, okay.
And so I just look at them just out of curiosity. I can't see how well it's doing because the publisher has the rights, and so I don't get to see the actual numbers of sales until like 6 months out, which is frustrating to me. But after day one, I was in number one spot of like the new best sellers in the science category.
Yeah.
And so I was pretty excited about that.
That's so exciting.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah, I was pretty excited.
That's
it slipped
so
to number 2 today, though. So like,
that's okay. That's all right.
So go buy one and put me back up, right?
Yeah. Okay, but we are also, Karyn is so amazing, and we are doing a giveaway.
Yes.
So she is going to be giving away this awesome copy that's actually been in her hands.
Oh, yeah.
This
I'll
will
sign
be-
it for you, too, if you
Oh,
want.
that'd be fun.
Because, yeah. I
Yeah.
don't know, that feels weird to me.
Yeah.
I'll give you my autograph.
But so check out my Instagram to see how to enter that to win your own copy of Science, Art, plus Drawing Games for Kids. Okay, anything else? Where do they go to buy this book?
You can get them anywhere. Amazon, obviously. Barnes & Noble's selling them. And pretty much any online. There's like indie booksellers and different ones like that. It's on most bookstores online. Not in person. I have a hard time finding them in stores.
Barnes & Noble not in
Well,
store?
I found one here in our state, and I went and took a picture with myself at the Barnes & Noble. Not this one, my mouth one. I haven't checked yet on this one. So they're in some, but mostly it's easier to find things online these days.
Yeah,
so
because I don't want to drive around.
Nobody does. We're all kind of lazy like that.
Yeah. Okay, so this is so fun. Karyn, it was so fun to have you
It's
back
fun to be
on.
here.
Karyn and I, this has been a really fun journey for both of us to do this podcast together and to watch it, what's happening, but it's fun to watch it change and to see what Karyn's doing.
It's awesome to see what Megan's doing now as well, and her success with her membership and her coaching. She's so awesome.
It's fun. Okay, so what's next for you?
That's a great question. I did a podcast with my publisher, and they were like, well, if you did the next book, and I was, if you go with the STEM theme, probably engineering would be the next one.
That would be a fun
if I
one.
kept up, if they want me to
I was like,
do
do
another
history and art.
Ooh, I love
Wouldn't that be
idea.
so fun? Because we did,
Yeah.
this is totally a tangent, but we're studying about going west, and we made the craziest pioneers out of graham crackers, and Teddy Grahams were our pioneers, and we had animal crackers for our oxen, and
fun.
Oreo wheels,
Oh,
and
cute.
licorice ropes, and they're a mess, and we had a blast.
That's so fun. Did you take pictures?
Oh, I'm going to. They're out
they're still
drying.
here.
Yeah,
I'll
they're
have to go
still here.
see.
Oh yeah, they're real good. You'll guess Brigham couldn't get his to work, and so finally he covered his whole hands in frosting, and he's like, I think if I do this, and I'm like, well, let's see how that goes. And so eventually he just kind of piled them all
Mashed it together.
and then he got the licorice rope that we were using, like the
Nice.
pull apart licorice.
Oh,
You know
yeah.
what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Pull and peel.
Yes. And he put that all over, and he goes, that's their blood. They were attacked, and these ones did not make it.
I love it.
So, and then Tessa's,
fun.
hers, she ended up doing it with us, because she doesn't always homeschool with us. And so she ended up having the high-end people, where they had a spare tire on the back, and I think she did a logo of some sort.
fancy,
Like, this
huh?
is their fancy
I
wagon.
love
So,
That's cute.
But I think you should do that.
All right, I'm all in.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, you can find Karyn at teachbesideme.com. It is an excellent resource for all things homeschooling. I utilize Karyn's website frequently. I've used it for our own homeschool. I've used it for co-op. Just when I need an idea and I don't want to think anymore, Karyn has pre-thought for me.
Aw.
And I love that she has stuff like this that is simple or something that I'm like, I'm willing to put a little bit more effort in. I think you did like a borax crystal one or something. I was like, I could do that one. Yeah. So she is a really, really great resource. So go and check her out. And then go check out Hippie Mama on Instagram to see how you can win your own signed copy of Karyn's newest book.
Yay.
All right, guys. Have an amazing day, and I'll talk to you next week.
Bye.